see us, even after a long period of not being here. You probably don't know me. I'm a freshman. I'm from the largest and arguably the most conservative district in the state. And my constituents are pretty much oil workers and infrastructure workers and mining workers. And keeping on the subject of federal overreach in our state, they're wondering, and since you sort of said you were concerned about Deb Haaland's sort of anti-Alaska energy stances before you voted for her, they're wondering, since you did vote for her, if you would like to change your vote now, knowing what you know now versus what you knew then. I've taken some hard votes. I'd love to go back and change some of them, and my folks want to know, would you change your stance now if you could?
I'd like to change her mind on the decisions that she has made that have negatively impacted the state of Alaska. Again, whether it's with regards to the NPRA, whether it is regards to what we're seeing again with this yet another pause on oil and gas leasing. I'm planning on changing her mind. She hasn't stated what her mind is, but I'm worried about where her mind is on build out of the King Cove Road. So, you know, we're always asked if you wanted to change your mind. The reality is we are where we are. We are where we are. We have a secretary that is putting in place policies and proposals that are not good for our state. I would suggest to you, though, that Deb Haaland is perhaps not the mastermind behind much of this. You have an administration that has a different view of what it means for this country to be less energy vulnerable, let's put it that way. Because we can say energy independent, but our reality is we're intertwined in many, many different ways. And so how we deal with an administration that doesn't appreciate the value of producing your own resources is an every single day challenge. So even if we could do a do-over on Deb Haaland, I don't believe for a minute that we would not be in much of the same situation that we are now with an administration that just has a very different view of resource development. And I think they're getting caught in it, I'll tell you. Right now, they're supposedly announcing a task force or working group on rare earth elements and what more needs to be done to develop those. Okay, we're all over it. But what they have done is their actions have been exactly the opposite in terms of encouraging any level of resource development, be it mining, be it oil or natural gas. So it's an incoherent policy that you're seeing coming out of the White House now with regards to our nation's resources. And that's a challenge for us as a state. And as much as I think that we can kind of scapegoat Secretary Haaland, it is beyond the Secretary's office at the Department of the Interior. It is a White House that has an entirely different view, and a view that hurts a state like Alaska. But we've got that administration. So what do? We're going to fight back. We do that, and we do that every day. But we also have to be able to talk to these people to say, do you realize what not only, for instance, development of Willow brings to us in Alaska, but what it brings to our nation? Do you realize the value that a state like Alaska that has mineral wealth can provide to you for your green agenda? If you want more wind turbines, if you want more solar panels, if you want more EVs, It doesn't just apparate. You have to get the stuff. And the stuff just doesn't all come from China. It comes from the earth. And we've got some of that stuff here. So how do we access that for our benefit and the benefit of our friends? And I think we're seeing this play out right now in Europe. We should all, this administration should be looking very carefully at what's happening in Europe, because Europe let themselves be vulnerable from an energy perspective. They said, Germany says, we're gonna throttle back on nuclear. We're gonna go to wind and solar. Didn't work out as well as they wanted. Quite honestly, they're filling the gaps by coal. And so what are they looking for? They're looking to Russia for the Russian gas. Right now, about 1/3 of the gas that comes to Europe, to the European nations, comes from Russia. And so now when you have Putin, who is not just threatening, he is doing it, you've got a real dilemma, because as much as they want to say, no, Putin, you cannot rearrange the global world order here, they need to keep their homes warm. They need the gas. They are extraordinarily vulnerable. Why don't we pay attention as a country to that? Why can't we see that if we put ourselves in a place where we're relying on others for the oil and the gas that this country is going to need and the world is going to need for lots of years going forward, folks? Why can't we understand the direction that we are headed right now with minerals? It is a very precarious place for us if we're going to say, we don't want to do it here, but we'll be happy to take it from you, China. Until the day that China says, got you over a barrel here. You need this for your electric vehicles. You need this for your wind turbines. Right now, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Unless we are proactive, unless we move our policies in this direction to help us be more independent. And this is where, again, I say you've got an incoherent policy coming out of this administration.